Hi everyone. In today's video, we will know about DynamoDB. What is DynamoDB? Why we use? What are the importance and the key features? What are the key components we are using? Basically, DynamoDB is a managed NoSQL database, and it's accessed through the APIs and ORMs. It's authorized through IAM. So let's see the agenda. In this video, we will learn what is DynamoDB, why it's important, and the key features, the key components, advantages of DynamoDB, the limitations, and what are the use cases. And lastly, we will see the demo also. So let's see one by one. What is DynamoDB? Amazon DynamoDB is a fast and flexible NoSQL database service for all the application, and it's a fully managed database that supports both document and key value data models, and it is flexible data model and performance makes it's a great fit for mobile, web gaming, tech and IoT and many other applications. It's a highly availability and durability, and it's a managed NoSQL database, and it's cost effective, and it's stored in the SSD storage, and it can be accessed through the APIs, ORMs, and authorized through IAM. So in the DynamoDB is a fast and flexible. It's fully managed database. It supports both document and key value models, and also it's a flexible. We can be easily stored in the SSD storage. It can be authorized through the IAM. So let's move to the next topic, that is why DynamoDB. Why DynamoDB? Because it's a serverless nature, and it's with auto scaling. It can automatically adjust the capacity and the low latency and high availability. So let's see the definitions. DynamoDB is a popular choice for developers and organizations due to its high ability and to handle the large volumes of data with low latency and high availability. Its serverless nature eliminates the need to manage servers, allowing teams to focus on development instead of the infrastructure. So with auto scaling, it can automatically adjust its capacity to handle the traffic spikes, making it ideal for the applications with unpredictable workloads. Next is key features of the DynamoDB. The main key features are fully managed service, NoSQL data model, scalability, consistency model, flexible querying, backups, high available, integrated with AWS ecosystem. So let's see one by one. Fully managed service. DynamoDB is a fully managed serverless database, and it handles the setup, infrastructure, maintenance, and scaling automatically. The next is NoSQL data model. In DynamoDB, data can be stored and retrieved as a key value pairs, documents, or wide column stores, and it is a fast and flexible NoSQL database services. Scalability is a fully managed serverless database that automatically scales to fit developer needs, and DynamoDB scales to 0. It has no cold starts, no version upgrades, or no maintenance, no downtime. And it also a global tables in a multi-region, multi-active database with the 99% of availability. That's why it says scalability. The next is consistency model. DynamoDB offers a two consistency model. One is a strongly consistent reads, and another one is eventually consistent reads. It consistently handles more than 10 trillion requests per day, and it allowing developers to choose between the strict consistency or high performance depending on then requirements. The next is flexibility querying. DynamoDB supports various querying methods containing key value, range queries, etc. The secondary index, which is optional and enabling efficient data retrieval based on the different access patterns. The next is backups. PITR, means point in time recovery, provides the continuous backup and protect DynamoDB tables data from accidental or delete operation. So in the DynamoDB, the tables are deleted in accidental or in case we can delete, we can be backup using the PITR, point in time recovery. It provides the continuous backup, and on-demand backup and recover provides the full backup of DynamoDB table contents. And also the backup and restore operation do not affect the DynamoDB performance. and the developer can backup data from a few megabytes to hundred of terabytes of data. So the backup is the main key advantages in the DynamoDB. The next is available. In a region, DynamoDB replicates data across the multiple availability zones, ensuring high availability, and it automatically handles replications recovery, reducing the possibility of data loss or service disruption. The availability SLA of DynamoDB is 99%. The next is integrated with AWS ecosystem. DynamoDB is part of Amazon ecosystem. The platform allows developers to build serverless applications, leverage infrastructure code, and build real-time data-driven application through the integration with other services such as AWS Lambda, AWS CloudFormation, and AWS AppSync. So DynamoDB is the part of the Amazon ecosystem. That's why it's allow developer to build the serverless applications, infrastructures, etc. These are the key features of the DynamoDB. The next, move to the advantages or key components. The next is key components of DynamoDB, or also we can call it as core concepts of the DynamoDB. It contains the tables, items, attributes, indexes. These are the main core concepts of the DynamoDB. The tables is the collection of items. The items tables are called as collection of items like tables in RDBMS. The items is also a collection of attributes, and it's an individual record in the table like rows in the RDBMS. And the attributes, the data for each item. So the contain attribute is a data of the each item. Like when we creating the item for a table, like we are creating the student item, so it contains the each attribute, student 1, student 2, or employees. Like it contains the data for the each item like student name, age, and class, like that. Next is primary key. Primary key is a unique key for each item. It's a partition key or a sort key. The next is indexes. Indexes is a user to query data efficiently. It's a global secondary index or local secondary index, we can call this. So in the tables, it's similar to other database systems. And DynamoDB stores the data in tables. It's a collection of data. For example, we can say the table called people that you could use to store the personal contact information about friends, family, or any other else. And also you could also have cars tables to store the information about vehicles, like student tables to collect the information about the student, like this. In the item part, each table contains 0 to more items. Item is a group of the attributes that is uniquely identifiable among all other items. In the example, we say in the people table, each item represents a person. In the student table, each represents the student information. Items in DynamoDB are similar in many ways to rows, records, or tuples in other databases system. There is a known limit to the number of items you can store in the table. In the attribute is composed of one or more attributes. It's a fundamental data element. Something does not need to be broken down any further. In the example, we can say an item in the people table contains the attributes called personal ID, last name, first name, and so on. For example, we can say another example like department table. So in the item, department contains the department ID, the name, manager, and so on. So basically, attributes is a DynamoDB are similar in many ways to fields or columns in the other database systems. So this is all about the key components or core components of the DynamoDB. The next topic, that is the advantages of the DynamoDB. DynamoDB, it's a fast and predictable performance. It's highly scalable and flexible. It offers the administrative burden, operation, and scaling. It offers encryption at rest of the data protection, and AWS management console can be used to monitor resources utilization and performance matrices. It provides on-demand backups. It can be highly automated. So, and also DynamoDB in the basically is a database service that offers many advantages, and also we can say it's a security, scalability, consistency, cost effectiveness, access control, automatic replications, backup, monitoring metrics, easy of use. In the we can say security. So DynamoDB to global regulatory compliance its standards, and also it offers the encryption at rest, which uses encryption key to stored in the AWS management. We'll say that it's a highly scalable, so it supports to auto shading and the load balancing, which allows application to store growing amounts of data. In the consistency, so DynamoDB offers eventual consistency, which means that data changes are propagated across replicas asynchronously, and the cost is calculated based on the reads and write, so depending upon the usage of the reads and write. And the backups, I've already told that in the key features it support backup for storing the data, so accidentally or we can delete the operation, we can easily backup. DynamoDB is easy to start using and doesn't require the database management. These are all the main advantages. We can highly automated and encryption rested. The next concept is disadvantages or limitations of the databases. So it has a low read capacity unit of 4 KB per second, and write capacity unit is 1 KB per second. So, and the DynamoDB, it provides only 4 KB read capacity and 1 KB per second to the write capacity. So these are the one of the limitation. And also all tables and global secondary indexes must have minimum of 1 read and 1 read capacity units. So it contains at least minimum 1 read and write capacity in the all the tables and the secondary indexes. And also the table size have no limits, but accounts have 256 table limits unless you request a higher cap. So in the DynamoDB, basically table sizes have no limits. We can use so much of tables, but the accounts of the table limit is 256 limits unless your request is higher cap. The next is only 5 local and 20 global secondary indexes per table are permitted. So we can only on the limited tables indexes we can use per the table. So otherwise we cannot use more than that indexes in the every table. And also DynamoDB does not prevent the use of reserved words as names. So any reserved words are not preventable in the use of the names. And also it's a poor for billing system, like a DynamoDB lack of transaction system can cause the damage to import the data. DynamoDB lack of support for indexing the nested values make it difficult to query or filter based on the data. And also it doesn't allow for the traditional SQL queries and access patterns. These are all the main disadvantages of the DynamoDB. Go to the next concept, that is use cases of the DynamoDB. The real-time use cases of DynamoDB are e-commerce applications, mobile and web applications, and gaming applications, IoT applications, like that. So in the e-commerce, it contains the product catalog and shopping carts, and in the mobile and web apps, it contains session data and user profiles. In the gaming application, the player profiles in the game stats, and also IoT application. So gaming application is a player. So in the gaming application, it contains the DynamoDB is used for the player profile. So it contains the details of the players like player number, the age, and what game he plays, like that. And also it contains the game statements. It contains the details of the every game, like that. In the e-commerce application means shopping carts. The each items and how much it costs, like that. It contains all the details in the table. So in the e-commerce we can use like that. So this is the use case of the DynamoDB. So let's go and see the demo how to create tables and items. Here we will go to the DynamoDB. So in the DynamoDB, here we can see the dashboards, tables, explore items, backups. So in the key features, I have already told that we can create the explore the items and we can easily backups, integrations, import from X3. So yeah, go to the dashboard. So here we can see there is no any favorite tables or alarms, clusters, nothing we have to create it. So let's go and create the tables first. So I have already told that tables is a collection of the items. So first we need to create the table. Here we can see DynamoDB is a schemaless database that requires only a table name and primary key when you create the table. So first we will give the table name. So here I will give table name as employee. And the next is the partition key. Here we can see partition key is the part of the table's primary key. It has a hash value that is used to retrieve the item from your table and allocate the data across hosts for scalability and availability. So here we need to give the partition key name for the purpose of the table's primary key. It's a part of table's primary key. It's used to retrieve the items from your table. So here I will give the employee ID or employee name, whatever you can give, so it's in string. So the next is a sort key. Sort key is the optional, so you can use the sort key as the second part of the table's primary key. So you can give the sort key, otherwise you can let it be. The next is the table setting. There are two settings, one is default setting, another one is customized setting. So in the default setting is the fastest way to create your table. You can modify most of the setting after your table has been created. Also you can to modify this setting now. So choose the customized setting. So in the default setting is one of the fastest way to create the table, and also you can modify setting once the table is created. We can modify the table now. We can use the customized setting. In the customized setting, use advanced features to make the DynamoDB work better for your needs. So in the default settings, it contains the table class, capacity mode, read capacity unit, write capacity unit, and also it contains local secondary index, global index, encryption, delete protection. So here I am using the default setting. So if you want, you can use the customized setting also. Then the tag, so tag is optional. You can add a new tag or let it be the same. So then create the table. That's great. Yeah. So here we can see table was created successfully, contains the name as employee, the status is active. It contains the part of primary key is employee ID in the format of string. The next thing what we need to do is, so go inside this employee table. Here we can see here there is no tables, with just one table, which one we have created now. Here it contains the information of partition key and the sort key. The capacity mode is on demand. The table state is active. So the next what we need to do is, here we need to explore the tables item. So here we can see there is no table item, it's not there. So what we need to do is, we need to create the item. So here we can see, here we can add, remove or edit the attributes of an item. You can nest the attribute inside other attributes up to 32 levels deep. So inside this attribute we can add the other the items, or we can remove or edit this. So here we can keep employee ID as 1, and so here I will show you. Here we can add a new attributes that contains the string names. So here we can give as employee name CD, and also we can add another one, that is employee age. Employee age can be 27, and also you can add employee address. So click on the create item. So here we can see item is created. It contains the name, address, employee age, and employee name. And also we can create another item. So let's go and create item. So here I have had another employee, that is employee ID 2, and add some attributes. Here employee name, that is XYZ, and add the new attributed content string, that is employee designation. Intern, and also add employee country, that is India. Let's click on create item. So here we can see another item is added successfully. For the table of employee, we can create the 2 items, that is one is employee ID 1 and employee ID 2. So the one employee, we doesn't create any employee country and designation. So in the employee ID 2, we didn't give employee address and employee age, that is the blank space, it's redirected. So in the 2 tables, we can create 2 different items, you can see here. So the next is, so here we can see there is 2 options. One is scan items and another one is the query items. Here I can click on the scan items. So scan item examines all the created items you have created, but in the query it's only a selected items we can see. So click on the scan. Here we can see there is a selected table or index. The table we have created only employee, like so. Then click on the all attributes or specific attributes, you can change also. So click on the run. So here we can see, so it read capacity units consumer 2, means it scan all the items we have created. It's examine all the resources redirected when we click on the scan. So here we check specific attributes. So here in the specific attributes, we can click on the employee ID and add another attribute. So that is employee name. Okay. And then run. So here we can see it only shows the items it can return, employee ID and employee name. So that's about the scan item. Then go to the query. So we doesn't need any specific attributes. So in the query, we need to specify is the employee ID partition. So we can give 1 and run this. So here we can see it only shows the employee ID 1. So we need all the details. We can give employee name and employee age. So then we will run this. Here we can see. So it shows the employee ID 1, the age is 27 and the name is EBCD. So how this is how it works. So in the scan, it scan all the details, but in the query, it only specifies the which item you want to scan, each item you want to see, or which attribute you can see. Like that, this all work. So this is how the DynamoDB work. So we can in the DynamoDB, and this we can easily scan all the details, and using the query of operation we can specify only we can visit the some items. So this is how DynamoDB works. Thank you.